as a kid, was the fact that your parents were musicians the reason why you picked up the guitar in the end? I know you kind of studied, did drums, and then like you went on to guitar. So was it because your parents were musicians, and then that kind of sparked your interest in, you know, picking up the guitar?
Yeah, I would say so, man. It's kind of one of those things, you know, when like you're surrounded by something all the time. It's kind of like this all you know attitude. It's like, oh well, this is around all the time, and I see like dad and mom doing it, you know, and it's just kind of like that saturation that it's just there all the time, you know. And for a while, like I started playing when I was very, very young. Started playing drums when I was like 3. My mom like got me a little kit and started like teaching me how to play. And she couldn't really play, but it was like she sat me down and kind of showed me like a basic groove or whatever, and I could do it. You know, it was like a couple weeks before I turned 3, so I was like seriously like a baby. And yeah, I started playing drums for a little bit, and then I actually like I hated it. You know, like my parents would like they'd bring me out in parties. You know, they'd have these big parties at our first house, and like they'd get me to go play for everyone at the party, and like I just despised it. I was like, no, like this is the worst thing ever. So I stopped playing for ages, and then when we moved to America, I picked it up again, and then quickly switched to guitar after that, because like I'm part of that Guitar Hero generation, dude. You know, like I got Guitar Hero 2. I remember like hearing like Cliffs of Dover, like hearing Eric Johnson, and I was just like, oh man, that's it. You know, like that's it. And I was like, I want to play this, and just started playing there. I remember my first guitar, I got like an Ibanez RG, one of the white ones with the Floyd Roses.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, dude, that was it. After that, it was like Steve Vai, Satch, you know, all the Ibanez cats, and Vai changed my like whole world. You know, how expressive he is and how different. A lot of people think that like I have a lot of Jeff Beck influence in me, but to be honest, like I know one Jeff Beck song. Like it's like the whole bar thing, like the whole whammy bar is all Steve Vai for me. That's where it is. I'm sure he gets a lot of stuff from Zappa and Beck anyway, so it's probably that you know, the long lineage of whammy bar usage.
Speaking of like that whammy bar, it's kind of funny because like obviously you've got like 2 GOCs with you now, and like I can kind of see your hand like getting used to like, I mean, if you watch your videos, you notice that your right hand subconsciously tries to reach for a bar.
Always.
Yeah, so it was kind of funny, and then like I was wondering why you're doing that. After that, when you launched your album, I was like, yeah, okay, now I know why. It's just like your natural instinct to do that.
Dude, I hold it. Yeah, I hold it even when I'm not using it. And I just hold it in my pinky. I don't know if you noticed, but I think it has something to do with why you can hear my pick tone through the amp as well, or like just I only use a fractal, but you can hear it hitting the pickups. Because I pick so high up on the like right on the neck pickup. I'm like picking right there because that's where I'm holding the bar. So like
the end of the bar.
Yes, because I'm holding the end of the bar. It moves my right hand super high up. But when I'm playing a 7-string, like the GOC7, like I kind of like I move back because I don't have a bar there and I'm moving. And to be honest, like it would be sick if in a future if they like did a Floyd Rose model or something. But you know, for a 7-string, it's like I don't really think about it because I'm thinking about it more percussively, and like I don't use much gain, so I use it more on like that intervals amount of distortion. You know, it's more for like more kind of like a percussive kind of like, you know, light gain thing, but very tight. You know, no verb, nothing, just like that straight.
I think that's the best for extended range guitars anyway, for 8 strings, you know, lower gain and then more percussive kind of playing, and versus a 6 where you have more chords, more voicings. I think that's so yeah. Cool. So they like sorry?
I said they kill it.
Yeah.
GOC are doing great on the extended range stuff. Like that, the 7-string, I haven't tuned it in like a week and a half.
It's still more or less there, isn't it? Like
I don't need to tune it. It's fine. It just sits there. I got it set up after I got new pickups in it, and it's just stayed there. I literally don't think I've tuned it since I put the DiMarzios in it. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Is it because you didn't play it?
Dude, I loved it. I play it probably every like couple days. I'm writing on it for the new stuff. It's cool.
Oh, nice. I'm
Yeah.
glad that GOC is inspiring, you to write more.
You feel good.
I'm happy to hear that. Yeah. Okay. Well, speaking of writing then, like, who were your guitar heroes when you grew up? And then, how did they influence your style of play growing up?
Growing up so early on, or more like for me to make my music now? What do you mean, like at the start?
Yeah, I think probably start till, I mean, just to summarize at the start, and then, maybe focus a bit more on the present now. So then, it's you can kind of relate it to what you're actually doing now a bit more. Yeah.
Well, when I started, as most of us do, you get more into the heavy guys and like I want to play fast. It's like fast and heavy is like the forefront of like your drive as a kid. I think I got like super hooked on like Zakk Wylde. So like Zakk Wylde was like, I was like, man, he's so aggressive. He just like literally kills it. I swear he would probably go through a pack of strings a day. Like him and Eric Johnson, Vi, like those three were like huge for me. And then quickly after that, I got like addicted, obsessed with Steve Lukather, like obsessed. I was like, man, this guy, and like not just his stuff in Toto, like actually more so not his stuff in Toto. I got like hooked on like his session playing and just his career in general. I was like, dude, this guy is the most versatile guitarist I'd ever heard. And since, I pretty much grew up half my life in Nashville, the session guitar thing was like very, very hooked in my mind. It was like, that's what I want to do. I just want to be like a session guitarist and do this because my dad's a producer. So like I was seeing all these players come in that are like, to me more impressive than any of the famous guitar players that I was, introduced to, is when you have a guy that's like played on, like 50 number ones, just walk in the room and you're just like, holy shit, like this guy like literally is like so versatile. But that's where I got really hooked on Lukather, and he shaped my playing like tremendously. And after Luke, I got into like John Mayer and got more into the bluesy, chill stuff. So like as I got older, my tone, my distortion started going lower, and so like as I got older, there's less gain and less gain and less gain. But pretty much after that, so I mean, Mayer and Lukather are probably my two biggest influences from the past like 10 years. Was those two guys, and then the modern cats are just like killing it to me right now. That there's so much inspiration from like Intervals and Pliny. Like Pliny is just like a new age vibe.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, just like mind blowing. Like I put on one of his records and I'm just like so pissed. I'm like, dude, screw you, dude. Like, and like he's just so sick. Him, Polyphia, of course, are like doing super controversial shit, and I love that. I'm like, if you're gonna piss off a massive group of people, it means it's awesome.
Yeah.
It means it's sick, because you're gonna have all the old cats that are like listen to like that are super stuck on like the legends as they should be, but then they're like mad if someone tries to evolve the sound. It's like, well, dude, we're in our 20s. Like, what do you expect? You think we're gonna make Satriani records? Like, he already did that.
Yeah.
Like, why would we want to do Satch records when they're already done? So it's like, I think what Polyphia are doing is really like no one else, and I think that's great. So I think the new cats for me that I stay really inspired by are Pliny is probably my biggest, and then Intervals and Polyphia. That's probably what's what's definitely helping me curve my sound, and it's like the old guys, and then those three for me right now are my favorite personally.
Nice. Well, that's good to know. But so then in terms of like, watching them play and then, loving their style, how did you develop your own style and your technique? Because you did mention before that you were self-taught. So how was it difficult developing your technique to at least reach the level that, your idols are at?
Right. I think for me, it's everything. Like we're in that YouTube age as well, to where like you watch, and I think we're so lucky now that it's kind of like, if you want to, I don't know, understand like deeper theory or dive deeper into like technique, you can look up pretty much all your favorite guitar players right now, and most of them are going to have a couple tutorials out. Plenty has tutorials out, like Aaron posts stuff from Intervals, he posts stuff all the time. I mean, these cats, like, they do that. And it's kind of like, I would sit there, and if I wanted to dive deeper into something, I would go and search it. And honestly, though, my like technique for me was, I kind of just like trial and error. I didn't really have anyone sit down and be like, this is how you pick, or like, this is how you should use a bar. Like, I would watch how other guys are doing it that I love. Like the bar thing, I would watch Vi, and he has like hundreds of videos of him, like of videos really close up of him, using a bar and how his finesse is with it. And that definitely curved my sound and my style. And also my dad producing records, having other session players come in where they always have a Strat, always with them. And, I remember one session guy told me, he's like, yeah, man, take all the springs out of the back of your Strat and just keep 2. And so I've done that. Like every guitar I own with the bar has 2 springs in it. And it's so floaty and fluttery, and you don't really need to touch it much, to get that kind of like float going. And like that for me definitely curved like how I play. But technique wise, dude, I don't know. I probably played wrong as shit. like I mean, I can't play super fast unless it's like legato, because my picking is probably so wrong, But like that's never something I've wanted to accomplish. Is like, oh, dude, I just want to like shred, because there's so many guys that do it, and they do it better than me. So my thing is more the finessey, catchy, like more melodic stuff. It's instead of like, I want to hit 1,000 notes on this song or this solo or something, and it's like, you know what? It's like I got friends that'll do that, so I'll just like call them to get them on my song, and then they can shred.
Yeah, why try to be like them, right?
It's not really my thing, Yeah. But if I'm playing fast, it's just, I don't know. I just put a groove gear rap on and just like legato the shit out of it.
That's what I do as well. That's what I do.
Exactly. And then I'll just do 36 takes until I get it right.
Yeah, just chop and like punch in every take.
I'll do it MIDI, and I'll quantize it. Perfect.
Oh gosh. So I guess that kind of then explains the direction when it came to your album, which is Zero Gravity. So obviously congratulations on that launch there. I love the tracks. It's so chill. Those are tracks that I like to listen to when I'm not in the mood for heavy stuff. And it's just stuff that, doesn't piss me off, because music is good. Like heavy metal is good, but it kind of, makes you a bit aggressive at times.
Yeah, I listen to heavy metal every day. Like I'm into metal. I just don't make it. I just don't think it's my playing style, but I listen to instrumental music and prog more than anything, probably. Like Plenty and Intervals are like in my top listening to. Also, like, I mean, dude, there's even that George cat that's with GOC. Dude, holy shit! Like, he has so much Greek metal embedded in him.
I know.
It's the heaviest shit. And I'll just like, if I'm going to the gym, it's like, I'll throw some of his shit on as well. I mean, there's so many cats right now that are making killer stuff, and it's cool.
Yeah, like George is a phenomenal guitarist as well, and he's like working really hard to finish his album now. So I can't wait, to be honest. Like he's like, oh, it's so stressful, there's so much to do. And then we were just talking about his prep work on what he needs to do to finish the album and the marketing side of things. And I'm actually really looking forward to his stuff, because he writes really, really good music. And this time he's making it really dark. Like this album, he claims it's gonna be really dark, and then you can kind of tell from the single he released. So I'm actually quite excited about what he's coming out with.
Dude, there's chords that I don't even. There's too many numbers at the end of them, and that's how you know how dark it is. He's like, yeah, dude, this is like an A79654 3B flat. You know, you're like, dude, cool. How many strings on that? 17 strings. Like,
I know it's kind of crazy, and yeah, he's just a phenomenal guitarist. But obviously, it's good to have like different styles that we enjoy listening to. Yours suits a different day, different time.
Vibe.
Yeah, it's a different vibe altogether. So then, speaking of your album, was there a specific theme that you were going after, whether it's musically or from a fantasy point of view, or was there something that you were basing the songs on?
Yeah, dude. I mean, for my sound in general, like I said before, I produce a lot of pop music, a lot of like hip hop, pop, R&B, like anything modern driven. So like I'm a programmer and I program drums, on a lot of different styles of music, everything from pop to country. And that was something that like I hadn't heard done before, and it's literally what I do on an everyday basis is produce that kind of music. And so I was like, man, I want to combine what I'm hearing musically on like a more instrumental progressive route, but with straight up like pop, R&B, hip hop production, and that was kind of my whole driving force on it when I first started. Was like, I'm just gonna do this for fun. And I'll put it out, and it'll be like cool. Like if a new artist wants to hire me to go on the road or something, I'll have a body of work I can send them and be like, this is how I play. That was where it started. It was like literally nothing of like me being like, I'm gonna be an instrumental artist. Like that was not what I set out to do. So, it was kind of just that. It was like, well, I don't need to, I can just do this myself, and do it for just pure fun and just to get out any creative stuff to have a body of work. So I think that was more my, was more like the route of what you said, like to curve the sound or whatever, is like, what did I set out to do was pretty much blend those two kinds of music. And I wanted something where I haven't heard it in the instrumental world, and I hope I don't get spited for this, but like, I haven't heard really repetitive pop melodies from many people. Intervals and Polyphia definitely tap on it, and like they have some really catchy, awesome stuff. But like something where it's like, dude, I wanted to do like a Justin Bieber chorus, straight guitar, like a repetitive melody. It's not difficult. My rhythm parts are triple the difficulty than my lead parts. Like I'll be on a chorus melody, it'll be like on 2 strings, 6 notes, but my rhythm part will be like giving me tendinitis. So it's like that's kind of like was something I really focused on. I'm like, if you listen to all 11 of my songs, every chorus, it could be a Post Malone track, and like that was kind of what I was like, I want to do this because I also want like, a 23-year-old girl studying math in college to be like, this is kind of cool, not just like every guitar player in the room crossing their arms being like, oh, there's not enough flat 7s in there. So that was not like really my, my goal wasn't to do the most difficult crap, because like there's so many cats doing that, and I'm not trying to compete on that. I'm just trying to do like something a little bit more pop, a little bit less thinky. Because, I love that stuff. I love to go listen to music that makes me think. Like I like to go listen to Pliny and be like, oh, dude, what time signature is he in? Or like, how many modes is he coming in and out of? Stuff like that is cool for me. But like, my fiance is like, So it's like, she's not going to listen to it, but like I do, and that's awesome. But like, I wanted to do some stuff that like could be more like, you don't have to be a musician to vibe to it, or it could be literally in the background and you not be like thinking. It's just can be like something just cruisy. And I think that was kind of like what I kind of set out to do, I think, in mind. Like I had that in mind, was like, I want to make catchy progressive music that not only musicians will dig. And I think that was something that I think I accomplished it, to where it's like there's catchy melodies that I've been told gets caught in people's head, and stuff that isn't, it's not too thinky. It's not prog, and I think that like I love prog, but not everyone does.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think that just to affirm what you set out to do, I think you did that successfully, because like it is pretty chilled, and it is, in my opinion, I think music that not only musicians and guitarists would appreciate, and it suits so many different situations where, like you said, it could be in the background, it could be someone, doing some, just studying and just listening to that, and it's just that soothing music where, occasionally the choruses stay with you. And I mean, as we speak, actually, like, I can't remember the title of the song, but then like one of your choruses is like, in my head repeating itself now. And like, I'm like trying very hard to focus on what you're saying, but that tune is like
dude, that's
just
awesome.
floating there, So
that's what I like to hear. I'm trying to take over the elevators of America. That's what I'm trying to do, dude. If you know anyone that can hook me up with a sync with an elevator company, let's go. that would be it.
Oh, nice. And then everyone would will come up the lift, going like that. What's happening to your head? No, it was just the music and the lift,
Yeah, man. I'm over Celine Dion in the elevator. It's time for my album to get in there. She's had her time. She's made her money.
Yep, it's time for the new blood now. But yeah, congratulations! It is a phenomenal album, and I really enjoyed listening to it. Yeah, I was thinking of maybe learning a tune or two from it, but then I think you are right in the sense that the chords are actually a bit more complex than the lead lines.
Dude, I will send you any backing tracks you want. I have them all here. So after this interview, I'll shoot whatever song you want to do. Like learn or do.
Nice.
I'll shoot them all. I'll shoot them all to you. That would be sick. I'd love to hear you do a. What would be even sicker is to hear you do like a heavier cover of it.
I'll try.
That'd be sick.
I'll let you know then. Appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
Nice. Well, yes. So thank you so much for like sharing, your thoughts and your intentions for the album, and obviously congratulations once again on the successful launch. So now the next part of our interview is more gear related. So we've talked about the parts where maybe non-musicians would be interested in hearing. So now let's talk about stuff that only guitarists will be interested in hearing.
I love gear.
Yeah, you can never get enough of gear.
Seriously.
When you get one, you're like, yeah, that's gonna be the one. After it arrives, you're like, yeah, where's the next one?
Dude, my fiance hates me for that, because like I'll get guitar in, and then like the next day I'm like looking for like the next guitar.
So when's the Luke 4 coming out?
Dude, yeah, I have a little bit. I have a little bit of information. No Luke 4, but some other unreleased Lukeness.
Oh, nice. Well, yes.